So on the shaper vise, the moving jaw, the surface here that's going to run along the fixed side, it's kind of like a way, is ground. The thickness here for the to lock the jaw in position is ground. And at this point here now, what I need to do is grind this surface here. This is where the keepers go. So this height between here and this ground surface needs to be 312, and then this thickness here needs to be 1 inch 300. So I'm going to grind this and then just come up against this shoulder and clean this up. And there's only about 10 thou there left right now, so it won't take much to take that down to size. And that's just to clean it up. It's not really critical. This one here, this 312, is to keep the keepers, to keep the jaw fixed with no play there. So that's what we're working on at this point. So right now this is the moving jaw, which will, when in the vise, be in this orientation. The nut will be in here. But just to show what's happening, to hold it in there, these keepers go inside of here. They would be on the other side of the moving jaw, but they would sit inside of here up against there. And they're the keeper that keeps the moving jaw down. So that's that 312 we just ground there. I'm just looking at it. I'm not sure if I'm gonna just take a little bit more off of there or let that go the way it is. So I've got those two keepers in the vise here, and we're gonna put them in the grinder just to square up the ends. We've got two good surfaces on the jaws. Use a little machinist square to set them up square. We're just going to dust off, clean that top off, flip them around, and just clean them up at this point. Size, length, not critical. They're just going to sit in here. So as long as they're not proud of the end of the vise, we'll be fine. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to lay out the lines for the bolt hole pattern in the bottom of these keepers here. So I'm going to stone the bottom, make sure that's good and clean. Make sure the plate's clean. So we got that line scribed there at 450, and then I'm not gonna tell a lie. I got lucky. I was just dusting these off to clean them, and they're 1 5/8 inch 625, right on the money. So I'm going to come up 312. Come in 312 from either end, so that should give me an inch between the two of them. And then we'll do the same thing. We'll stand this up. We'll do 312 from the plate to there, and that way we'll have this guy sitting in there flush with that other end. We'll have a little gap in here. I don't have a counterbore drill for 1/4 inch socket headed cap screws, so I'm going to attempt to make one here. Got a drill in the whirly gigger here, and we're just going to plunge down with the grinder and take off 91 thou off the radius. That should get us down to 257, which is a close fit clearance for a 1/4 20. So that should be right on the money there. I'm going to back the table out here. Try and get a measurement on that. Not sure what I did on the math, but we're a little small. That's never good. So right now what I'm doing is putting in the countersink for the socket-headed cap screw. So that's the countersink for the socket-headed cap screw. And we just we ground that drill, and I had to put a little bit of relief on the back side of the cutting edge for the counter bore. So at this point I've got one of them attached to the vise. You can see it in there. There's a little bit more play than what I had planned for, but what I'm going to do is I'll get both of them mounted in there and then try and understand. The good news is there's too much of a gap, so I can grind this surface again, take 3, 4, 5 thou, whatever I need to get a nice close fit. I just got one bolt in there right now just to mock it up. So once we get those done, then next step is start working on the nut and the screw. So the jaws now, I've got holes through them for the fasteners, which are a 10-24. They're going to sit recessed like that. There's some grind stock on there after they come back from heat treat. The fixed one is attached, so that's fitting. And then on the moving jaw here, what I got to do is I got to get it set up, and then transfer the holes through, and then drill and tap 2 holes in the moving jaw. Starting to look like a vise. So I just I had the vise, or the moving jaw on the vise, lined up the jaw itself with the fixed side, and then put a little electrical tape on there, pulled the jaw back a bit, and then got a clamp on there. And now we just got the clamp and the jaw in the vise, and we're just going to transfer that. And then we'll make that center punch there a little bigger so we can get a drill in there, and we'll drill and tap that. So we've got the jaw stood up in the vise, and we've lined up this first hole. Make sure everything's tight and we're good to go. starting to look and feel like a vise at this point. I've got the rough jaws in there. They're going out for heat treat, and then we'll grind them. And the moving jaw feels pretty good. I've only got the one keeper on there right now. So next step is we got to start working on the nut and the screw. One of the other things I had to get done for the vise here, now that we've got the moving jaw pretty much straightened out, was to this pin was not with the vise, and so I measured up the sample vise I've got. So I got a nice tight fit there. The only thing is, I think I want this pin, which is just barely a press fit into the vise. I think I want it to be a part of the swivel base. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm just going to Loctite it in there. And it's just it's 625, just like a slip fit through there.